Welcome to the Rio Olympic Arena in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. This is the one we have been waiting for, the women's wheelchair basketball final, the gold medal game, the last game of the women's portion of the basketball tournament. And it matches up the defending Olympic champions from Germany against the undefeated team from the United States of America. A matchup that is almost seemed not inevitable, but quite likely once the semifinals were taking place.
Of course, yesterday's semifinals, the USA extend their unbeaten run, but wow, what a semifinal they played against Great Britain, taking the women's game to new levels, winning 89-78, sending Great Britain to the bronze medal match. The Germans won 55-45 against the Netherlands in a game which the average field goals percentage was 33.5%, not up to the level of the USA versus Great Britain, but Germany will not care because they are here. Their only loss came against the British team, but they haven't made it to the final. Britain, Germany have, and they get to go for back-to-back golds with Holger Gnicki, the coach, in his final ever game in charge, retiring after Rio 2016.
And the United States undefeated in their group, in Group A. Germany, it was actually a three-way tie in Group B, and it was settled by points difference between the three teams, which Germany won to take that top seed. So the two top seeds are meeting each other in the final, as it should be. And Germany, well, they had a rough game in the quarterfinals. The Netherlands just completely fell apart, scored only 4 points in their semifinal game. Germany had a 25-12 lead at the half, and they barely hung on to win that game in the end, 55-45.
You could see a mismatch of styles here today. The USA have so many options for their shot. They're quick, unless it's Desi Miller holding the ball, where she does slow the game down. Germany, that's how they got here. They will have a lot of big players on court. They will try and bully the USA, and they'll try and harass the shots of the likes of Murray, Miller and Holloman. Germany got past the Netherlands. USA outshot Great Britain in what was an old-style American shootout. It really was.
167 points scored in that game, which I think, well, I know it was the most in this Olympic tournament. I don't know if it was the most ever in a women's Olympic tournament.
The US shooting over, what was it, over 70%. Yeah. Great Britain lost, shooting 55% from the floor, which is just insane levels.
If you score 78 points in a women's basketball game and shoot that well, you expect to win. So now let's meet the U.S. team first. One of the two co-captains, they come out in ascending numerical order, Gail Gang. Number 4 is Megan Blanc. Number 5, Darlene Hunter. Number 8 is Natalie Schneider. Number 9 is Desi Miller, who really was the key player in that win over Great Britain for the way she played point guard and added so many points as the British tried to stop the low threats. Number 10 is Jennifer Foist. 11, Vanessa Erskine. 12 is Becca Murray, the deadly shot. 15, Rose Holloman, only 20 years old, but already a key player. 23, Abby Duncan. 24, the other co-captain, Christina Schwab. And 33 is Mackenzie Soldan. And there at the end of the high five line is the head coach of the U.S., Stephanie Wheeler, and her assistant, Trooper Johnson. And now the team from Germany, and we open up with number 4. It's Family Feud today because America Miller is the spouse of Desi Miller, and so we have, probably for the first time that I know of, two spouses playing against each other in an Olympic final. Joanna Vellen, a Paralympic final. Joanna Vellen is 5, Simone Kuss is 6, Anna Potzwald is 7, Annika Zion 8, Laura First is 9, Geschke Schönemann is 10, Maya Lindholm 11, 12 is Annabelle Brewer, 13 Annegret Reisman, 14 the captain Marina Mönen, and 15 is the backup center Barbara Gross, and the coach is Holger Gnicki. And I think you were just alluding to, this game will be between more or less the balance of the U.S. and the two big guns, Miller and Mönen, for Germany. As the teams now line up for the national anthems, we'll start with the national anthem of the United States, the Star Spangled Banner.
We
And now Deutschlandlied, Song of Germany, the national anthem of Germany. The music composed by Joseph Haydn in 1797, originally called Das Lied der Deutschen, the Song of the Germans, and the German national anthem. The players exchanged gifts at mid-court. We missed the moment there with the Millers meeting at half-court. There they go. Well, it's Valen who slaps hands with Desi Miller. We missed the Miller-to-Miller moment. And here is the lineup for Germany. The Miller and Monen, the two key players.
Yeah, very much so. Big points coming from those. So I doubt Monen will start. I think Miller will probably start. Annika Zayn, the number 8, is a huge player in this game. Her pace, her work rate, she's a low point player. She's a fantastic player. Holger Gnicki, well, he will win his 5th major competition in 8 years with his Germany team here today as they go for back-to-back golds and he retires.
Germany won the World Championship in 2014. Germany was second in the World Championship in 2014, which was held in Canada, and Canada won it. And the U.S. were nipped into 4th place by the Dutch in that, just as they were in the Olympics in London. And for the United States, Rebecca Murray shooting, Rose Holloman's all-around play, and Desi Miller. That's the key for the U.S.
Yeah, Miller will try and slow the game down again, and they'll look to get Murray and Holloman shooting big as they did against Great Britain. Stephanie Wheeler is such a tactician. She really worked that game perfectly yesterday in the semi-final. She called it. We heard it in the timeout. She said, this is how it's going to play out. And we literally watched the next 10 minutes with Stephanie Wheeler's 10 minutes. It was a phenomenal third quarter for the USA.
So the starting lineup for Germany, the 3 players we talked about, plus Simone Kuss and Maya Lindholm at the other 2 spots.
No Gesche Schooneman to start. She's had a bad competition. She's often a live wire, but they've gone against her.
No, they have been bringing her in off the bench in the recent games. They did in the semi-final for the U.S. Gang, Hunter, Miller, Murray, and Holloman. That's the lineup that has started most of the time for the U.S., except that usually Christina Schwab, the captain, the co-captain, was the point guard. Miller played 1 game at point guard in the tournament and then took over in the semi-finals. Germany, the 5-1 record, as you see, the 1 loss to Great Britain, which they didn't have to avenge because the Netherlands took care of it for them. Well, the U.S. took care of it for them, I should say. And no one really ran them close in the competition. No one yet has run the U.S. close, apart from the Netherlands for maybe about half that game, and Great Britain for a good portion of their game in the semifinals. As you see, that amazing 167-point semi-final.
Well, that first half really was unbelievable yesterday in the 4th quarter as well, where Great Britain came back into it, but it was too little too late. There are the referees: Juan Renuela of Spain, Philip Haynes, the umpire from Australia, and Argentinian alongside him, Matti Quintana.
So Germany in white, the US in navy blue. Desi Miller will take the tip against Marika Miller. Did you wash the dishes last night? No, you were going to. Home talk. 2 spouses contesting the opening tap, and it's Marika Miller who gets it for Germany, but it comes off and over to the United States, and that's Rose Holloman, only 20 years old, one of the real budding stars in international basketball. Miller is so relaxed at the point. Murray doesn't have a shot. Holloman, she has the shot and misses, hits the rim, and Monen with the rebound. Kuss now for Germany. Lindholm. And Lindholm's got a path to the basket. Kuss has the open shot. She misses, and Holloman with the rebound.
And early nerves from both teams. Unusual to see the States getting into that position and not taking the early two, but both teams missing early shots.
The U.S. will set up usually, well, now they send Holloman inside as Murray hits from the outside. It took her a while to find her range against Britain in the semifinal game, but she's hit her first shot here.
Yeah, another Milwaukee Bucks player, Rebecca Murray, 31 points against Great Britain in the semi-final.
So Zan, she's handling the point duties. Monin on the outside misses, and Desi Miller with the rebound for the U.S. Now, generally, the U.S. come down, and Murray set ups on one side with someone in position to give her a screen. Holloman on the other, and that left the middle open for Desi Miller, but Murray hits again, and it's 4-0 U.S. So with Miller and Holloman pulling the defense to the right, Murray has the shot on the left.
The one thing I thought Great Britain could have done slightly better yesterday was getting out and pressurising the shot in the early stages, and then probably pressing in that third quarter earlier than they did. It'll be interesting to see how the Germans do so against the US today.
Zane's shot misses, and the rebound comes to the side where neither Miller nor Moonen were lined up. Desi Miller brings it down.
But again, she's slowing the game down. There's no pace in it from Miller once more.
Well, Desi Miller now, Holloman sets a screen for her. She shoots and misses, and Marika Miller with the rebound. Zane. Lindholm. Miller in the paint. Little trouble getting the shot away, but puts it up and in, 4-2.
And Marika Miller, another player who plays for the Milwaukee Bucks in the USA. She was in the paint a long time there. I thought she was going to get blown up by the referee, but important for her to get the points down for Germany. They couldn't let the USA get too much of a run in the early stages.
Yeah, there have been a couple of calls that have been applied inconsistently throughout this tournament, and 3 seconds is the one that stands out the most on that. Wow, that was a rainbow pass to Holloman. Back to Murray. Miller nearly got that one. Murray spins away from her. Miller defending her tightly, and Murray falling away to Holloman. They don't beat the buzzer, and it's a 24-second violation. Great defense by Marika Miller.
And that was sort of what I was saying in the previous point, that where Great Britain failed to get 2 big players out to the Americans and force them to keep moving the ball and pressure the shot, the Germans there, because they got Moan and because they got Miller, and they're genuine big players, which Great Britain don't have 2 genuine big players playing in that style at the moment. There's the difference for Germany and Great Britain between the 2 games.
Lindholm, Mernon drops it to Kuss. Kuss just waited till the defender left the hand alone, and she puts it in. We're tied at 4 with 3.5 minutes played in the game.
And the US need to keep an eye on Kuss and Zayn. Both are consistent shooters despite their low points.
Murray over to Holloman. Now, and a nice drop. The layup doesn't go, and Moonen gets it. Hunter missed the layup. And I think Coach Wheeler just nodding that that's what they want to do. And she doesn't get worried if the shots don't fall, because she feels eventually they will. Marika Miller now sets, and that was partially blocked. And Miller, Desi Miller, picks it up for the U.S. and brings it down at her usual seemingly relaxed pace. It is not relaxed. She's just one of those players who looks very easy when she's doing things, and she looks very easy as she cans that long shot, and it's 6-4 for the U.S.
26 points in the semi-final. It's that game face of Miller, isn't it? It's a style she's playing. It's almost an act she's putting on, but it's an act that works.
Yeah,
if an act works,
that 26 was the key to the game, really. That was what Britain had not counted on or was able to defend against. Moonen now on Hunter. Miller in the paint again. And so that seems to be where they want to go, is to Marika Miller in the paint, probably trying to force the U.S. defense in and open things up outside. And now Holloman again comes across. So they overstack on that side, and Holloman comes down the middle, and she hits. Turnabout being fair play. It's 8-6 U.S. as we approach the halfway point of the quarter, much lower scoring than either semifinal was yesterday.
Well, but they've started relatively accurately, both up near 50% at the moment. Holloman, I still can't believe there's a second Paralympic Games at just 20 years of age.
And Zayn with the basket, and it's tied at 8, 4-4-4 to play.
And there you go, you see Kuz and Zayn, two very important baskets for the Germans. Both players actually had horse riding accidents, which is how they ended up in a wheelchair and classifiable for the Paralympic Games.
Desi Miller, well, she's hit the one from straight on. She's missed the two from the side. And Zayn trying to stop her from getting down on D. And Zayn with Merman in front. Kuz and Miller both head into the paint. Miller's got it in there, and the basket and the foul.
That assist from Zayn, superb stuff. What a loop pass, and Miller goes over to acknowledge that. What a player Annika Zayn is for the Germans.
And Lindholm getting a little bit of instruction on where to set up. And Miller with a chance to give Germany a 3-point lead with just over 4 minutes to play. Well, that shot misses, but she's going to get her own rebound. She pushes off Desi Miller, gives herself some room. Shot clock's at 8. Down to Moonen, and her shot is good. 12-8, Germany by 4.
And the Germans really pressurising the USA here. And this is going to be interesting how the Americans can respond under pressure.
A great feed from Desi Miller, and Gang lays it in. It's 12-10.
And finally, some injection of pace from the Americans. The response they make was actually to inject pace and move the ball quickly, which we haven't seen in the semi-final or yet in this final, but there we saw it finally.
Monin. Lindholm was setting the screen for her. Her shot misses, but Miller with the rebound, and they quickly get it back out to Zayn up top. No one's there to defend her. Now Desi Miller comes out to take her, and the pass goes right into Miller, who was planted in the lane, you have to say, for a long time, just watching everything go on.
She was, and she's a vital player for the Germans when you look at the likes of Marina Monin. Monin was amazing at London 2012, one of the top scorers alongside McLaughlin of Canada, but not quite been at the same level here.
Murray did a nice job of just bringing it down by herself, moving behind the screen, but didn't hit the shot. And it's Zayn coming down for Germany. Miller again in the paint. Now she comes out of it, and that's a 3-second violation called on Monin down in the paint.
It was a 3-second violation, but the one real positive for the Germans is they're getting their two bigs in the paint, and they're getting them in the paint quickly. This is something USA didn't have to deal with in the semi-final, because it's something Great Britain aren't actually very good at. Amy Conroy doesn't get in the paint very often, as Desiree Miller just unattaches her wheelchair from Marina Monin. But the Germans are excellent at getting Miller and Monin in there and pressurising the defence.
Yeah, and the difference is you have two bigger, stronger women there. Amy Conroy lacks that physical bulk to be able to compete all the time inside against bigger players.
Amy's big. Amy's also a fantastic outside shooter, which is partly why she's like sit out the paint. But for the Germans here, Monin can do that job anyway, but they get in the paint well.
Desi Miller now, back up top, no rush, 8 on the clock, and there's another pass to Gail Gang, and again she lays it in. We're tied at 12, just over 2 minutes to play in the half. Looked like the mummy on the sidelines there.
Look at Gail Gang's face. How pumped is she about this game, the co-captain? What a tournament she's had.
She's really indispensable to them. Look at that, just spinning around, cutting off Miller from the pass. Now out on Zayn. And that one's knocked away by Murray, and Murray picks up the loose ball, looking for someone to pass it out to, and it's Gail Gang, of course. And Gang back to Murray. Well, Murray wanted to get that one go. It was a good job by Kuz to just disrupt that shot. Hollerman now, Hunter, and Hunter lays it in. So the last 6 have been from Gang and Hunter.
Yeah, Rebecca Murray, the one thing I know we talk so much about her shooting, her defensive intensity there to steal the ball for the USA was so important. And as you say, the US in front of the basket at the moment, clinical as well.
1:16 to go. Lindholm up top. And they set for her. Her shot goes in and out, and Holloman gets the rebound up to Desi Miller. No rush. Waiting to see what happens. Keeps coming, though, and she's got a shot. They don't pick her up, and again, now she's off. She was deadly in the semifinal game. She doesn't have that touch today, and Miller, America Miller, with the rebound.
For the Germans not to come out on her, though, they do that at their peril, because Desi won't miss many.
Now Monin from the foul line, that's short, and Miller tipped it away. Lindholm gathers it in. Zayn spins around, 8 on the clock. She's got the shot now. It goes in and out, and Holloman with the rebound for the U.S. Shot clock and game clock are virtually the same. They can work for the last shot. .11 now, 10. Oh, that's another one to Gang. Back out to Holloman for the shot. And Holloman's goes in and out. Thought she had the perfect shot for the last bucket of the quarter, and the quarter ends without Germany being able to get the long heave away, but at the end of one quarter, the score is 14 for the U.S., 12 for Germany. Another, no, not as high scoring as the semifinal game for the U.S., but another close first quarter. And for Germany, is 14-12 where they want to be?
I don't think they'll mind. They didn't rush a hook shot, as you said there, and I think if they were really concerned about where they were at the quarter, they would have gone for the long effort. They were a long away from the basket. There are the game statistics. Well, what will they be looking at? 40% from the floor, not really what the Germans expect. USA 47, not as high as in the semi-final, but still a very good level. Offensive rebounds 3-1. The Germans doing well. 7-7 on defensive rebounds. Well, that tells you it's quite an even match, and it's a 2-point difference.
Yeah, that's exactly what you'd expect. And except perhaps I expected both these teams to maybe be shooting a little bit better as they came out.
But they're also two teams that know each other very well. You know, they've played World Championship matches against each other. They played the gold medal match back in 2008 against each other. They're two teams that will play each other on the world stage all the time. It's always going to be cagey in the opening stage of the gold medal match when two teams know each other really, really well and know the plays they make, because they've got to sort of feel their way into the gold medal match and get their flow.
And the U.S. Team and observers, of course, concerned that they haven't been able to deliver at the big tournaments lately. Fourth place finishes, they're used to being in the medals.
They'll also have in their mind from Canada 2014, the World Championships in Toronto, that they lost by 10 in the semi-final.
Yeah.
To the Germans, 68-58, and they, they'll forget about that in terms of the recent results are more important. But when it comes to big matches, if you've been turned over by the Germans in the most recent major tournament, it'll come into your mind.
Yeah, well, is the big difference in this U.S. team simply that Holloman is 2 years older?
Yeah, and I just think the way Steph Wheeler's set them up is just as perfect as anyone else, as close to perfect as any other team have got it.
Germany inbound, and it's Monin with the ball, getting it into Miller, who was in the paint the whole time. Holloman blocked her first shot. She misses the second one, and the rebound comes to Murray. But Miller was in that paint basically from the inbounds pass. And Murray driving all the way and draws the foul. And again, it's so amazing the way she can weave her way through opponents who look quicker than she is.
Rebecca Murray just seems to glide. She just seems to glide around court. Her shot is just superb. She seems to glide. Miller is going to have her work cut out today. And the reason being, you said about whether Holloman's improved over 2 years. I also think Marina Monin as Gesche Schunemann comes in, and this is interesting. They've kept Monin in and taken Miller out, but Monin isn't quite the player she was at 2012. Schunemann's having a tough tournament. Is putting Marika Miller under a lot of pressure.
And that was called a deliberate foul, or as they call it, an unsportsmanlike foul, and Murray misses the first foul shot, which is unusual for her. And makes the second, and the U.S. will get possession back after that because the foul was deemed intentional on Miller, trying to stop Murray from going in for the layup. Yeah, interestingly, the best game that Schunemann had was the one against Algeria, where Germany started, in effect, a second unit and let them play. And that will be a foul on Monin as she bumped Gang out of bounds.
But Schoeneman's a player who, in European finals, in the last Paralympic final, she has a huge impact for the Germans, or has had in the past. She's off form this year. I've seen her play a number of times this year. She is off form for the level that Gesche Schoenemann sets herself, and also the reputation she has in the game is so high and so well regarded. But she's not been at the party here in Rio.
Murray dropped the pass to Gang, but she was too far under the basket, had nowhere to go, and in fact passed it back to Monin. And that's Schoenemann coming down, and it will be Gang with the foul on Zayn.
Well, that was an American football tackle, wasn't it?
Let's take a look. More or less, yes. No, and they've called it, well, it's a balancing call, but they've called an unsportsmanlike on her now for that foul. And to be honest, I don't know if it was deliberate, but it was probably overly strong for what it was intended to be.
I think calling that one a balancing call is optimistic. I thought that was.
My question is,
it was a try-saving tackle in rugby. That.
Well, it's good. It's a good enough call. I'm not arguing it. And so she misses one of the two, and Germany get possession back, down by a bucket with 9-10.
Zayn's going to have a huge say in this final.
9-10 to play. We've only played 50 seconds of this final, of this second period. It seems like it had been going on for about 5 minutes. Monin now on the outside. Schoenemann. Lindholm with the screen from Zayn. Shot misses. Rebound to Hollerman. Up to Desi Miller. Says something to Hollerman. Tells her where she wants her, I think. And she wanted the screen and got it. And she misses again. Germany, for the most part, was taking away that shot in the middle. And Miller wanted to set one up and still couldn't get it to drop. Schoenemann now, Hollerman comes out to pick her up. Germans all set up on the other side. They go low because they've got the mismatch. Monin shoots over Gang, and Murray just reaching for the rebound. What a great job of pulling that one in. And Hollerman getting around Schoenemann. She's got Desi Miller. She gets Murray, gives her the pick. There's 10 on the shot clock, and Hollerman then sets it for Murray, and Murray, automatic. 7
points for Murray so far, but her all-round game in this final has just been beautiful. She's been doing everything. She's been defending, she's been picking players off, she's putting the ball away. Okay, she's missed a couple of shots, but everyone misses a couple of shots. The Germans, I'm surprised Lindholm's being kept out there as Miller comes back in. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Joanna Vellen before all too long.
A Swedish-born German player. So it's now Miller and Schoenemann as the two bigs for Germany. Lindholm deep to Schoenemann. It's Gang on her. Gang doing a great job of harassing her. Miller again in the point, gets herself out of it, and the turnaround shot hits two rims and goes off, and Hollerman with another rebound to Miller, who turns around, looks at the clock, and brings it up at her pace. And look at Marika Miller not giving Desi Miller that shot. Murray is short, and Schoenemann with the rebound.
The defensive strategy was right there. Miller sat out on, Marika Miller sat out on Desiree Miller, and she was forcing her into a long shot which she didn't want to take if she wanted the shot at all. It's exactly what the Germans need to do.
And Schoenemann, and the foul, I think, on Lindholm for the block.
Important play there. Schoenemann getting an offensive foul called against her. She can be a temperamental player. She can go over the edge sort of psychologically. Will she hold it together? It's important that Schoenemann does. And Joanna Vellen comes into the game.
Yeah, the foul was actually on Miller, on Marika Miller, and that's her second foul, the team's third. In this third quarter. It's a very tactical game right now. They're still adjusting to each other and feeling each other out.
Yeah, it is a tactical game. The Germans are making those changes with a couple of players coming in, Velland being one of them, which is one of the ones we called. Holger Glanicki won't be worried at the moment. It's a 4-point difference, but this is a guy that has, he's led this team for a long time. If you read his coaching resume, it just sort of falls to the floor with the amount of medals and achievements he's won, either with the German team or with his Hamburg Baskets team up in northern Germany as well.
Which is where Lindholm is from, despite the Scandinavian name. But Velland was actually born in Sweden and grew up in Germany. And there is Marika Miller. 17-13, 3 minutes gone in the second quarter. Desi Miller bringing it up for the U.S. And it's Zayn who's out there at the foul line. Murray doesn't get the drop, but Hollerman with the rebound inside and kicks it right back out to Murray and comes over to screen, now moves behind her. Hollerman to Desi Miller, who's moved down low now into what would normally be Hollerman's place, and that one's blocked, and they don't get the 24-second clock. It was Velland who blocked that shot, and a turnover to Germany.
Well done to Velland to make the block without fouling as well.
Schoenemann now. And Schoenemann from the outside, in and out, and the rebound by Murray. I wouldn't be surprised if Germany continues to defend to stop Miller in the middle if we saw Schwab sooner or later at the point for the U.S. and maybe pick up the pace.
Schoenemann's first shot in Germany only hitting 29% from the floor at the moment.
And Gang can't get the rebound to go, but again, you saw Murray, they were defending her. She knew there'd be an open player, and Gang just missed the shot. Marika Miller with the rebound, and now gives it to Schoenemann. Schoenemann looking for Miller in the paint. Miller comes out of the green now. Back down low to Schoenemann. 4 on the clock. Schoenemann with the shot. It hits the front rim, and Hollerman with another rebound for the U.S. over to Desi Miller.
Germany currently do have an opportunity here. The US have dropped below 40% of their field goals, so there's an opportunity. If Germany can start hitting, they're not out the game despite under 30% going for them at the moment.
And it's Miller on Miller right now, and every time Desi Miller glides into that spot where she was so effective in the 2 games where she played the point, Marika Miller is immediately coming in front of her, and Marika Miller has the size advantage on her. It makes it difficult to shoot over. The timeout this time called by the U.S. And we'll see if Stephanie Wheeler comes up with a tactical adjustment here.
They're keeping the defense quite high on Miller, as you say, and it's just, it's forcing her to move the ball much more than in the semi-final. It's forcing her to actually think that bit more, which is making it more difficult for the US.
And Germany is defending. I'm surprised that what they haven't done is moved Hollerman back into that low right side post where she normally lines up and try to get the ball over to her with a screen.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Christina Schwab come into the game at some point in this one, maybe to inject a bit of pace for the USA and see if pace is an option, as we see Marina Monin sinking the 2, something she's so good at.
Sorry, didn't I mention Schwab a minute ago? I'm giving my co-commentator a hard time here. So there's just over a half of the second quarter to go. Germany trailed the U.S. by 4. And they're bringing the ball down with Schoenemann still in. With Marika Miller, the 2 bigs. Miller screening for her at the foul line. Schoenemann coming down quickly and trying to get the ball back to Miller, and she's called for a travel. Whirling around. It was that second whirl, wasn't it?
And this is the danger for the Germans. If they start to lose their heads, it'll all go wrong for them. They need to keep the focus, and they focused very well so far.
And Zayn now coming out to defend Miller, and now they've moved Hollerman back into that spot. She gets the screen from Hunter, and she sinks it. And that's the only way to cope with that cutting off Desi Miller, is you got to spread that German defense again. And for Germany, let's see if they do this again. Schoenemann down low, Miller at the high post. And Miller is busy keeping Hunter out of the play. Schoenemann cutting through now and has the mismatch on Gang. They get her the ball inside, and that's where she puts it. It's so interesting how quickly they identify mismatches.
Yeah, I mean, Gesche Schoenemann, she's an intelligent player. She's also a very quick player, so if she does get a mismatch, it's easy for her to take advantage.
So Hollerman now in America Miller. As soon as she came over toward Desi Miller, Hollerman got the ball. She looked for Hunter. Now it's back to Desi Miller. Back to Hollerman. Velen comes to her. Hunter, and Miller went for the block from behind.
Germany are doing really well to block off the three options for the States, though. Hollerman sat there, Miller's playing the point, but they're under pressure from a player constantly. Miller has a player sat on Zayn all the time. Zayn is such a workhorse. There's a mismatch on height, but it doesn't matter, and they're trying to pin Darlene Hunter in the back court here and take advantage of a 5-on-4. Can Mareike Miller do it?
It's what they did last time, exactly what they did, and then Schoenemann penetrated. But you're absolutely right, because 10 of the U.S. points have come from Gang and Hunter, who are the fourth and fifth options.
And that's fine if they keep hitting. It's great if they keep hitting for the States. But again, the Germans, are they just going to say, well, there's going to come a time when the U.S. might stop? You know, those fourth and fifth options might stop hitting. Murray, no doubt, will hit, and there she does.
How do you get Murray the open shot? Well, this time you do a double screen. You put 2 in front of her. 23-15 now, the lead up to 8.
Touch and not allow the Americans out to say 10 or 12 points as Schoenemann misses. You know, that keeps them in the game going into quarter 3.
Hollerman with the rebound, and Desi Miller brings it down again. Watches where America Miller comes, and then she turns around, and immediately the pass goes to Murray, over to Gang, back to Desi Miller. Good stuff from Gail Gang. Hollerman tries to get the rebound and can't do it. Velen pulls it in for Germany, and it comes up quickly with Schoenemann. 2-on-2 now for Germany. Schoenemann with Gang, and Gang turns her away. And now Schoenemann waits. Velen is open. She gets the pass, and there'll be a foul on Hunter, who whipped past her.
Darlene Hunter was not stopping there. she was going for it. Whatever was happening, she was going for it, and she look at that.
Yeah, and the thing there is it's a gentle enough foul to avoid that unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, she actually, I was about to say, she did very well to, although she wasn't stopping, she controlled her emotions, I suppose, to not make the touch on too hard.
Velen misses the first foul shot. It's fascinating the way the two teams are adjusting, almost play by play. Every time one takes one thing away, they go to another. Velen misses both, and the rebound to Desi Miller.
But just 1 from 5 for the Germans from free throws. And in a game like this, where it is going to be a tight game, you've got to hit your free throws, because that's one thing the USA can't stop you taking.
Hollerman with Gang setting the screen, has the shot, and makes it. She is so smooth. 25-15 now, the lead up to 10. Improbably, you know, it's been just a sort of drip, drip, drip by the U.S., but there's so many options.
There are, and you know, Hollerman 22 points in the semi-final, and she's just carrying on in good form despite the Germans putting her under pressure.
Brewer to Miller. Miller can't get the roll, and Gang with the rebound.
And Miller just having to reach so high for the shot. That was what put her off and sort of made her overshoot slightly.
Desi Miller to Hollerman, moment on her. Over to Murray. That was a good cross-court pass right into her hands, into shooting position. 27-15. And a minute and a half to play in the half, and Germany want a timeout. They need to get back into this game and keep in touch.
I can't quite believe that Rebecca Murray is only, before today, hitting 55% for the tournament of field goals. Right? It seems to me that she's hitting 90%, but apparently it's only 55%. Well, I might argue with that with our stats person, but for today, she's on 63% of field goals, 5 from 8 for 11 points, and 50% from her free throws. Holger Glanicki is sort of looking at his team, almost pleading with them to get back into this one, and it's what we said at 3 minutes 15 to go. We said they don't want the Americans to get the 12-point lead, 10-12 points. It just gives the Americans that cushion going into the second half, and it means they will be able to pull the strings in the second half and run the game, and that's what the Germans are scared of, because it'll mean a 20-25 point difference come the end of the match.
And it's hard to put the Americans off the game because they do have so many options.
Oh, totally. I mean, you pressurise Miller like they're doing today, and they've actually, I'm really impressed with the Germans and how they've done that today, but even with putting pressure on the Americans, they're just the best shooting team in the world in the women's game. There is no doubting that. You look at the options they have and how the percentages they hit. No one can match it.
So Germany down by 12 with 1:20 to go. Zayn brings it up. Miller is up at the top at the foul line. Monin now, they get her the ball low and she hits. And that may be their best shooting option if they can get the ball to her with a good look at the basket. The lead's down to 10 with 1 minute to play. Miller, Hollerman, Murray, they collapse on her. Gang goes in and Monin did just enough to upset the shot from Gang, and Germany come away with the ball and a chance to cut the lead again with 45. And Miller taking it all the way in herself, and it's an offensive foul on Miller.
I thought she was going to use Monin, who got in the key nicely there. Monin, that's Maraiki Miller on screen, who went racing in for the foul, but Monin, 37 years of age now, and she just, to me now, looks a little bit off the pace, just slightly, but at this level, being slightly off the pace as a big forward makes a huge difference.
And that's why Schoenemann, needs to be in there to give her rest. But she's the best shooter of those three from outside, especially. Miller's got the inside moves.
She's done it at the top level.
Oh, and Murray couldn't get the pass to Gang, then throws it all the way up. Another rainbow to Hollerman, and Murray gets it back, and Murray, calm as anything, just puts it through.
If one player deserves,
did you see that look?
If one player deserves a gold medal on this court, it's Murray. Just for the way she's playing the game in the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games, she's just been another level of class.
Monin now from the outside, she misses, and Hollerman brings the rebound in, has to protect the ball, and the first half comes to an end. I'll tell you, I'll give you a nickname for Miller and Murray is the beta blockers.
The point I was going to make on that last shot, that was a shot Monin would have made in London.
Yeah.
It was a shot Monin, and what Holger Klinecki hasn't got at the moment is a player, because Miller's not quite on her game in this one. She's being pressurised a lot. He hasn't got a player that he can turn to, which he had in London, Monin, and say, right, go out there, get me 5-10 baskets in a row, and we're back in this. And Steph Wheeler will know that, and she will play the game in this second half literally like a game of chess, just to keep the Americans ahead. She won't care if they only win by 8 in the end. She'll just keep them edging ahead, 15-5 for the quarter. And the USA, you have to say, personally, I can't see Germany getting back in this second half. I might be wrong, but the way the US have played, it's been perfect.
The lowest score for the US in any of their games in this tournament was 60 points, so they're just below that pace for this game. Shooting below their normal shooting as well, but the rebounding is 2017, no great difference there, but 10 points from turnovers for the US, only 3 for Germany, and Germany shooting at 30%. That won't do the job against the US. And so that's the way we stand now, and with the score at the half, USA 29 and Germany 17. welcome back to the Rio Olympic Arena and the women's basketball gold medal final here at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. And at halftime, the U.S. lead Germany 29-17. You can tell by the low score it has not been easy for either team. What's gone wrong?
Well, it's a funny one. The Germans, Schöneman's hit 25%, Marina Monen 29%, Marai Kimmler 33%, so not great stats from the big German forwards. For the USA, we expected Murray 67%, Darlene Hunter, the low pointer, 67% from the floor as well, and Holloman 6 points personal. But for Desi Miller, she's hit 1 from 8 of her field goals for 13%. That tells you the Germans know what they're doing.
The second half, they have a 12-point lead. Becca Murray getting the screen from Gail Gang, she just does something of everything, and she's been so good. And Murray right away nails one, and it's 31-17.
What a way to come back into the second half for Murray.
No changes in the lineup for the U.S., and it is the same lineup to start of the game for Germany, although they've made a bunch of changes through the half. Monen now, and they're Lindholm. America Miller, Moonen again. They're going to her on that right side, and she's missed 2 shots. And that's, well, you were making the point in the first half. It's not what you would expect from Moonen.
It's not what I'd expect from this whole German lineup. You know, Schönemann on the bench not hitting her shots, Miller not hitting her shots, Monen not hitting that. Marina Monen, as you say, every tournament in the last 6-8 years, she's the player that would be hitting her shots for Germany. That's what they built their game on. Schönemann's got the pace, and Monen hit the shots, and with Miller coming in, it added an extra threat, but they'd not been at the game today.
And Murray, we'll stop and just get the jab. Murray again, just with a quick look, and Miller picks herself up.
And there's an element where you've sort of you've almost got to feel sorry for the Germans coming in here in this second half, because they did play well against the Dutch to make the semi-final, but they just seem flat to me today, whereas America have just carried on the form. Okay, Desi Miller hasn't, but the rest of the team, and this is where the options come into it for the Americans, because if one person isn't hitting, but the other 2 or 3 are, you're impossible to stop.
It's been the story for most teams, and the Germans, I think, came out with a good game plan to put the U.S., to deal with the U.S. aside, but nobody has been able to stick with them, and that's going to be an offensive foul.
You could tell the Americans had done their homework for the semi-final, which is what a semi-final's for, to watch the video, check it through, see what the other team are doing and what they did wrong to not win the semi-final, and how you can pick your opponent apart the next day. They got that bit right, but their shooting's let them down, which is a rare thing for the Germans.
And that's the problem, is no matter how you defend the Americans, eventually they find someone who can shoot the open shot. Holloman now coming out. Miller is still on the outside of the paint. She'll want to get into it, and she does now. Can they get her the ball there? And that shot won't fall either, as Zayn misses. And Desi Miller brings it up again very carefully, very calmly. Rebecca Murray, Gang, and the basket and the foul. And that's classic. They finally overplay to stop Murray's shot, and Gang just screen and roll right down to the basket.
It doesn't fall for Zayn at the other end. They go down. The US, they make no mistake, and they also get in very close with Gang. They use her to get right under the basket, and that keeps the Germans under pressure with the defense, because they know they have to go out to the Americans. If Gang's getting in behind, it's causing them a headache.
And she's got 7 points now. It's 36-17, and it's a 7-point run to start the second half by the U.S. They punish every missed shot, is the way it seems. It's not always true, but it just seems that way. Schönemann has come in for Germany. Miller setting a screen for her. Schoenemann, it was knocked away from her by Murray, tipped away by Gang, and the 24-second clock is going to expire, and another turnover for the Germans. And they're doing to Germany what Germany did to the U.S. in the first quarter. There's Schoenemann's sister.
The Germans don't look overly happy in the crowd, and who can blame them? It's not been a vintage display from a team that have achieved so much.
And now just a defensive letdown as nobody picks up Holloman, and Murray comes in and gives her the pass, and Schoenemann, who was on the other side of the court, has to pick herself up.
Holger Glenicki needs to be careful here. He needs to keep his team's strategy going in this second half, because otherwise the Americans are going to, completely take this game away and win by a country mile.
Koos can't get it to hit, and Hollerman with another rebound. And at the end of the first period, he was where he wanted to be. His team was executing well, and there's the lead pass for Murray. She gets the foul, and the foul is on Zane.
They were 2 points down, and we said they weren't worried. They didn't take the hook shot. They didn't worry about it because they knew they were still in the game. But at that point, their defence was firing, and in offence, they were hitting their targets at the right time. But it's just gone away from the Germans.
And Becca Murray, who 17 points already, with the Germans cutting Desi Miller off. And the U.S. not really getting the ball for Holloman, not setting Holloman up. Miller's had to carry that offense, and she's risen to the occasion. A big game shooter. 40-17 now.
Bearing in mind the ring still, there is Natalie Schneider's children. Bearing in mind the ring is still 10 foot. Murray's technique is just something else, isn't it?
I look at everything she does that way. She's so active. She handles the ball so well. She's got such great vision. She's able to get passes away. Schoenemann can't go. Murray gets the rebound inside. She got great position on Miller. She gets the pass away over Miller's hands. And now Holloman comes down with a 2-on-1 with Gang. And Gang takes it herself.
We had the conversation at half-time about Rebecca Murray, where you jokingly said to me, are you sure she's a 2.5-point player on the classification system? She seems like she should be a 3.5-point player. She is a 2.5-point player, but she plays out of her skin. She plays so far above her points, it just releases the rest of the US team.
And Germany have to call a timeout now. They are down 42-17, a 25-point deficit after being down by 2 at the quarter and 12 at the half. They've been outscored 13-0 in this quarter.
It's a real shame for Holger Glenicki if this is the way his coaching career is going to end, because if they do get completely blown away in this gold medal match, for him, what a sort of sad point to finish on from a glittering career. This is a guy that's taken this team from they were miles off this when he started coaching them. They were seriously sort of, and also ran in the Paralympics, and he's taken them into a genuine powerhouse now.
And I've been impressed with the way he coached. I was very impressed with that move against Argentina to start Schoenemann, to start a bunch of his bench players and give them some considerable playing time. I thought that was really smart coaching, and it paid off in the semifinal. But right here, look at that, the tournament stats for Becca Murray, 155 points in this tournament, 47 rebounds, 42 assists, just a complete player in Becca Murray. But he did take Germany to the World Championship in 2014. He took them to the Olympic Championship, Paralympic Championship, in 2012. And, well, this may just be a bridge too far for Holger Glenicki and Germany. And Lindholm now puts the layup in. A nice pass from Schoenemann. And sometimes that's what you have to do when your big options are failing you. You've got to make the easy shots from your other players. Get them to contribute. Pick up the slack. Gang to Hollerman. Miller picks her up. Desi Miller over to Murray with Gang setting the screen for her. And Murray, it looked like it wanted to come out, and then it said, nah, Becca Murray shot it. I'm going to go in.
She considers that a bad shot as well, if it doesn't go straight through. She's just that good.
Inside to America Miller. And look at the response. No exultation when she hits the shot, just kind of like.
In the first half, we said how good the Germans were at getting into the key. They haven't been in there much in this sort of purple patch for the US.
And Marika Miller with the rebound. And you see they're just cutting off Hunter up at the top of the screen. And Miller so quick to get back from doing that, but she misses the shot inside. Koos now. Schoenemann from the outside misses, but hit the rim, and Koos with the rebound. Schoenemann came in, and she can't make it go inside, gets her own rebound, can't make the second one go, comes around for the reverse rebound, and finally draws the foul on, I believe, on Desi Miller. And with 4 minutes to go in the third, it's 44-21 and Schoenemann shooting.
Simone Koos was so important in that passage of play there. She kept rebounding the ball over the top of around way bigger players. The number 6 is only a 1-point player, and she kept getting the ball, moving on. She was able to sit in the key for ages because Schoenemann was putting the shot up, but she worked her socks off there for the team.
Miller shot missed. Koos offensive rebound. Schoenemann shot missed. Koos offensive rebound. Schoenemann shot missed. Schoenemann offensive rebound. Schoenemann tap missed. Schoenemann offensive rebound. Gang foul. That's some sequence of play there on the play-by-play sheet. Miller now up quickly, and Hollerman wasn't aware of the pass, and Schoenemann with the steal for Germany. Wheeling in, there's the wide open Koos, and she puts it through.
Schoenemann came into this game looking nervous to me. She's suddenly come to life. She's like a spark has lit under her, and she's just changing the game. But it's taken till now. It's taken till they're, all these points behind, 19 points behind.
Well, and that's 4 unanswered points for Germany, and that's all Stephanie Wheeler needs to see. She calls the timeout, cool their jets down, and get the team together. And I'm wondering if the time for a substitution for the U.S. might be about now. She's so calm, and poor Trooper Johnson has the chalkboard on his lap, and she rarely uses it. She's not one of a sort of micromanaging coaches. They've obviously been through what they want to do before the game, and all she really does is remind the players of what they've been through before and what they need to do to get that back. It's fun to watch.
There are no major changes regularly with Steph Wheeler. She doesn't go, right, we're going to bring 3 new players on right at once. It's all about just tinkering around and keeping the team strategy the same, but just tinkering with it to make it work for the team.
Well, a little bit of pressure now from Germany as Miller's way up in the front court on full court pressure, but Hollerman has it in the front court with Schoenemann on her. And look at how fast Becca Murray got down, and Schoenemann clobbered her, and I think we're going to have another.
If we're not, we should have an unsportsmanlike. That was horrendous.
Unsportsmanlike foul.
Well, fair play, Becca Murray staying up.
Exhales there. I think that's a. Watch this. She goes up, top of the body, head, and the chair leaves the floor. And yes, it is an unsportsmanlike foul. And that's a little bit of frustration. Again, how did Becca Murray get down the court so quickly and open?
She's so quick, Murray, though. We said earlier about how she glides. She's so deceptively quick. She doesn't really look like... She's not a Christina Schwab where she really looks genuinely fast, but she is. She's deceptive as anything.
And the other part of that is that she sees things happening. She sees ahead.
Vision. Yeah,
totally. Her vision is great. She anticipates what's going to happen. And obviously now a little bit banged up by that collision there. But 2 points, she makes both, and now Brewer comes in for Germany, and Valen comes in as well.
Of course, Murray, one of those players who was involved in the gold medal team of Beijing.
And Gail Gang draws the foul, and Miller goes sprawling in her chair.
It's interesting that the Germans seem to have improved their confidence with their offense and changed the game slightly in that matter, but defense, they still seem to be at 6s and 7s against this US team at the moment. They haven't they haven't turned the all-round game over completely at the moment.
There's the team fouls. Germany will be in the penalty situation on the next one. Murray, Desi Miller in the paint, gets the ball out of the paint, follows it. She knew she had to get out. 5 on the shot clock for Holloman. Good defense by Germany. Holloman lets the long shot go, and it goes in.
And that's the difference between a gold medal winning team and a silver medal winning team. They do that. A second to go. Boom, no problem, I can take the shot.
And there's the U.S. gathered up. Velin goes down deep. Comes across for Schoenemann. Velin sets a nice pick for her. There's the open shot. And Zayn puts it in just ahead of the buzzer.
Well, Zayn hasn't quite had the game that I expected from her this evening, but a player who, you know, she's been around at this level for such a long time and having an impact at this level for such a long time. You can't keep her out of the game.
You got a little idea of the speed of Murray there. She took the pass from Holloman and accelerated. Holloman now from Desi Miller. Hunter set the screen for her. Nicely done. The shot's off, and the rebound is taken by Brewer, excuse me. Schoenemann now with Murray. She got the size advantage, but watch Murray cut her off. Come right up, talk to her. 3 on the shot clock for Germany, and they're not going to get a shot away. And there's Stephanie Wheeler. They just, you know, what did she say? Cut off the gaps, play our gap defense. What did you just see?
Well, you want to pick a coach of the tournament. It's very, very simple. Stephanie Wheeler has just orchestrated this amazing American team. Schoenemann down to 13% for shooting now as well, and that is, you know, that never happens to Gesche Schoenemann. It very rarely happens to Gesche Schoenemann. 1 from 8.
Desi Miller over to Murray. Cross court. Holloman misses, and the rebound was knocked by Hunter. Everybody put their hands up for that one, but it goes over to Germany with 1:20 to play in the 3rd quarter.
The nice thing, I suppose, here is you sometimes go into competitions like this and a team win gold and you think, oh, how did they win that? Actually here, I think no one can argue that the USA have been the best team in the competition by a long way.
Nice give and go, and Miller lays it up and in. It's 48-29 now with a minute to play in the 3rd. Germany still applying the pressure, which they need to do, but there's Holloman breaking free from Schoenemann. She misses the layup. She flips the rebound up, but Schoenemann takes it away, and Germany can come down now.
Oh, Holloman wasn't called for a foul there on Schoenemann.
I don't know. I was just thinking the same thing. Zayn, she misses, and the rebound to Gang, up to Holloman, quickly up court, and that'll be a foul on Miller, who's holding her knee right now.
Zayn 2 from 6 from the floor. Poor final for the number 8, 33%.
And, well, that's the end of the game for America Miller with that foul, because that's her 5th. And she's fouled out of the game with 20 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. And well, yeah, that's an unexpected occurrence.
Holger Grenecker's face said it all there. It was frustration and sort of bemusement almost. What do they do from here? Well, they've got Monen and Schoenemann, who used to be their main 2 forwards before Miller developed into the player she is.
And makes the second. It's 49-29 with 26 seconds left. So 2 seconds ahead of, or 2 seconds behind the shot clock for Germany. They can work for the last shot, although in an ideal world they'd want to get the last shot, get possession back, and there's a 3-second violation, and you can see why as Valen was down in the key.
What is quite a scary thought for women's wheelchair basketball is this American team, who potentially are heading towards the gold medal if they continue in this fashion, just 26.8 years of age average.
And yeah, and as soon as Schwab clock.
It's a shame for the German fans. They've come a long way and they'll know exactly what's happening here. Not much cheering going on.
Their expressions look pretty much the same as they were while they were watching the 5th and 6th place playoff game, in which they cared not a whit who won. And substitution now. No. Darlene Hunter up to Desi Miller, up to Gang, and Gang lets the shot away, but it's nowhere near the hoop, and that's the end of the third quarter with the score, the U.S. 49, Germany 29. It was a 20-12 quarter for the U.S., and again, they played even in the first period, and then they've just dominated the second and third.
Yeah, and the States, well, it's been a phenomenal last 20 minutes for them. Germany did really well, I thought, in the first quarter to keep it even, but the game's just gone. Maybe it's the fitness, maybe at the end of a tournament. Here's the statistics. Let's have a look. 30%. The Germans will not like the look of their shooting. Angles, and Gail Genk proving difficult to defend from inside as well. Schoenemann not been at the party in the gold medal game. Murray is having a party.
About to start the fourth quarter of the women's gold medal game here at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games, and the United States leads Germany 49-29. An uphill battle for the Germans here in the fourth quarter. They will inbound to start the quarter. They need points quickly. They need a couple of stops to make this back to a manageable lead, put some pressure on the U.S. and see how they respond. But can they do it? Schoenemann into Monin. Monin, who's got to start scoring for Germany. And that was just an air ball. Great defense put up by Hollerman. Desi Miller with the ball. Up to Murray. Officials counting the 8 seconds, and they're going to call her for an 8-second violation.
Marina Monin has 4 points for the game, 2 from 11. Marina Monin has 4 points in a gold medal match. That is how well this US team have done.
She was averaging 17 a game coming into this and shooting 55%.
Exactly. I mean, the Germans just stopping the Americans getting over the halfway line, and Monin gets the ball stolen off by guess who? Who would it be? Oh, Rebecca Murray.
And it's 3-on-2. Murray, Gang, Hollerman, and Hollerman misses the layup. Hollerman's missed quite a few, actually, in this game, uncharacteristically as well. But in wheelchair, 3-on-2 is not as big an advantage as it is in AB basketball, because the chairs take up more of the room, but they executed that one perfectly.
They do. I mean, it slightly depends how well the players move the ball. And sometimes, you know, if you've got a Rebecca Murray who moves the ball that quickly, and other players who can pass in a similar style, Zayn's one of them, you know, it's quite simple to manufacture the shot.
And Zayn, and well, the rebound, Gang couldn't get to it, and Murray just came out of nowhere to take it away from Valen. That was a loose pass by Desi Miller, and the ball will go over to Germany. I would not be surprised to see Schwab come in at this point.
I find it fascinating from the American semi-final. You made a brave call, but probably the right call, as we see Steph Wheeler there, that Murray wasn't actually the player of the game. Miller was yesterday, Desiree Miller. Today, Miller is going to potentially win a gold medal. She's had a very average game. Murray, though, there's no doubting, as the Germans add another 2. Murray has been player of the tournament. Schoenemann finally getting a basket to go.
That's what I was just about to say. If you were giving a player of the tournament award, it would have to go to Murray. And the Germans came out to stop Miller. They, there wasn't a response from Rose Holloman. It wasn't like they left her to score lots of points, but Murray rose to the occasion. She hits another one there. The toothy grins there. And really in this situation, I'm just surprised there hasn't been any substitution at all from the U.S.
I've just noticed.
They've had five players go 30 minutes.
I just had a look at who was, where the scores were spread, and I was like, there's only 5 players who scored points, and that's because no one else has come off the bench for the Americans. It's a marathon performance from their starting 5 to go.
And now, it would really, I think, drive the nail in the coffin. You put Schwab in, you increase the pace a little bit, you help them break the press if that's what comes up. You put Schneider in maybe and have another big, but it's very strange. I'm not going to argue with it because it's working. Desi Miller looking at her hand. She's called for the foul, and then she's looking at her hand as if the hand somehow disembodied, committed the foul without her knowing it. But Germany, even now the U.S. has started this quarter playing slot. Oh, and the three-pointer is in by Schönemann. And as I'm going to say, even though the U.S. has started this quarter playing sloppy ball, as if they think the game is already over, perhaps. And now Holloman in the front court can slow it down and wait. Germany hasn't been able to take advantage of it. Gang spins around. Holloman, Desi Miller on the baseline. Shot clock down to 3. She drops it for Hunter, and Hunter can't control it before the shot clock expires.
On your comment about Christina Schwab and whether they bring her in, it'd be nice, being sentimental, for Schwab to come in, as this would be her 3rd gold medal. Played in 2004, played in 2008. Natalie Schneider, also another player who's there in 2008. Nice for Schwab to get on and play in the gold medal match. I don't think there's any doubt which way it's going unless the Germans really get a run here.
Well, Schwab's got her warm-up off, so it looks like she might well come in.
Maybe that's just a suggestion to the coach. Come on, somehow, Steph, I'm ready, Steph.
Somehow I doubt Steph Wheeler needs to listen to me. I don't think there's anything I could tell her.
Oh no, I meant her taking her warm-up top off and suggesting to the coach she's ready to go in.
Well, let's see.
Abby Duncan looks like she's going to come in as well, if that's what we're going on. Youngsters inspired by the Paralympic Games, and it's great to see. The Germans need to find some inspiration of their own here.
Nope, Desi Miller's still on.
No one wants to inbound the ball at the moment. But it's a funny old gold medal match, this, and gold medal matches so often can sort of go this way. They're never quite the spectacle you really want them to be, the sort of, you're absolutely so right. Close at the end of the game. The US have just shut this out. It's been a really good performance from them yet again.
Often the case in championship games in lots of sports. We overthink it, we overanalyze it, and really often one team comes out with a better plan, they execute it better, they get a little bit of luck, they just play better. That's why FA Cup finals and Super Bowls are often such disappointing games. Schönemann in and out, and Becca Murray with the rebound for the U.S. Looks down court, aware of that 8-second rule, which is one of the ones that's enforced. And, well, she couldn't get the pass to Holloman, and good defense, and just as I say good defense, Brewer is punished with a foul.
What people who may not have watched the London 2012 Paralympics need to know as well is this is very much 4 years in the making for the USA. Stephanie Wheeler would have been hurting a lot from them not making the gold medal match in London 2012, and then also losing.
Gang shot hit the front of the rim, and then Gang went over. She's picking herself up right now. Germany coming down with a 5-on-4 advantage. And Monin hits. And Germany's outscored the U.S. 7-2 in this quarter so far, as we are inside of 6 minutes left in the game. The U.S. has only scored 2 points in the quarter. Holloman Desi Miller puts it on her lap. But they're not going anywhere. It's like, I know that they have the lead. It doesn't have to be urgent. And there's a foul on Gail Gang for setting the screen. And Zayn goes down between Gang and Murray.
Something we mentioned earlier about Desiree Miller was that it was almost an act and a game face, this sort of slow, deliberate play as you see Murray spin and go into poor Annika Zayn. Miller actually, she doesn't look like she has another gear. And I wonder whether it is an act, but actually has she got that pace to take it up again if she wants to?
Substitution's getting ready. I'd be interested to see what happens if when they use Miller not in the point role and you put her in the other. I mean, they did a few times and she looked perfectly good at that. But it may just be that's the way they want the point done. Schwab is in, Schneider is in for the U.S.
The double gold medalist in the...
And I think it's Soldan.
It is Soldan.
Yep.
It is Soldan.
In the third one in for Hunter. Schwab, nice lead pass for Murray, who's one-on-one, and Murray just holds up and gets fouled by Velin.
She doesn't get flustered, Rebecca Murray, though. That was another crunching foul on her. And she just sort of turns away. She doesn't complain to the referee. She'll just focus on what she's got to do next. No doubt. And
Velin, that was a good defensive job. She, there wasn't much in the foul. She got the ball first and then fouled.
6 from 8 for Murray so far from the free throw line. Can she add to that? Can she take the Americans back out away from the Germans? It's 15-point difference at the moment. Is not going to be shots. It's going to be a baseline ball for the USA.
Yeah, it's interesting with the first two subs, although they have been the first two subs generally, Schneider and Schwab, two of the veterans on this team. And Schwab from the foul line. She misses, gets her own rebound, and they'll start again with 14. It goes underneath. And Desi Miller now playing in that forward role, and she still can't get a shot to fall. And it's going to be a foul called on Soldan, who was trying to tie up Zayn. She didn't like that much at all. And Soldan, only 24, so she's like Darlene Hunter's replacement.
Yeah,
in waiting.
She was a tennis player at London 2012. Switch sports, comes here, and
and Schwab was in the athletics in London 2012. Schwab, a 5-time Paralympian, 4 times in basketball, 1 time in track and field, as we call it in the States. So getting those two over can't hurt them much.
Oh, Schwab, I'm surprised she's only played 14 points a game here. In this Paralympic Games, she's played just over 14 minutes a game. For her, she's a great player to have in the squad because, as you say, 5-time Paralympian, huge influence on the team. And in the background, day by day, it's a long tournament this for the team. To have her level of knowledge.
Oh, look at that. That is, she misses the shot. That is just brilliant basketball by Murray. And Schwab started. She started a couple of games at the beginning of the tournament. And then Desi Miller took over at the point. And 2 tries by Monin, she makes it, and all of a sudden, now this is an 11-point game with 4 minutes to go. This is not a game that is already decided. And Germany know it. They're putting the pressure on with 3 up front. And now Desi Miller just holds up and waits.
It's a shame.
Excuse me, that was Schneider holds up and waits for Desi Miller who takes the pass.
It's a shame for the Germans that it took Mareike Miller getting fouled out of the game. Oh, wow, Rebecca Murray, 3 points, game done and dusted. Well, I say game done and dusted. She's stretched it back to 14 points, and the US just with the response they needed.
And the US really at 6s and 7s with their game right now, and Germany applying the pressure and having the better of it. And Murray just says, okay, enough of this, hits the 3, and then right back comes the 3 from Monin. It's 54-43. 3 minutes to go. An 11-point lead. And who's down there all by herself is Murray, and Murray gets 2 more.
31 points in the semi-final, 31 points in the final, and as we said, no doubt who the player of the tournament is here. Monen, interestingly, up to 11 points now as the Germans make this late rally.
Zayn. And I think Schwab was called for the foul, which the referee who called it didn't appear to be actually looking that way until the chair went over. And Schernemann goes to the line now with 2.5 to play. It's a 13-point game. She can make it 11.
And of course, if she does make it 11, it brings the 3-point plays in
Exactly.
for Germany, which brings this lady into it because she is a great 3-point shooter when she gets going.
10. Sorry, 12. Excuse me. I'm counting in the wrong direction.
It's been a long week.
It has. A lot of basketball. And another day to go as the men's tournament comes to an end.
Lovely shooting. Great form from Schunemann there. Pressure shots.
56-45, 2.5 minutes to go. Germany now with the full court pressure. They need a couple of turnovers, a couple of threes. And back in the game comes Hunter to inbound to Desi Miller. Gang comes back in the game as well, and Gang leaves it for, guess who? Rebecca Murray, and she misses, but the rebound to Hollerman, and there's a foul anyway.
But she missed one. Can you believe it? Rebecca Murray, hold the back page. Rebecca Murray has missed a shot in the gold medal match. Well, she's missed a few. Rolling to victory, USA, and that is barring one of the comebacks of Paralympic history, how it's going to be.
And Murray not pressured. Hollerman now spinning with 6 on the clock. Back to Murray. She has to get the shot up, and it's an air ball. But of course, the clock is working in the Americans' favor too. If they use up all the shooting time, it takes away from the time Germany can use to come back, and Germany have to shoot quickly. Schoenemann comes right down, sets up, and gets her shot off and misses, and it's out of bounds off Germany. Will come to the U.S. just under 2 minutes to play now in this game.
A real positive for this gold medal match is that the Germans have come back into it, and it is that they've shown, you know, it's 16-7 for the quarter. How brave of them to sort of, you know, come back at the Americans and say, no, we're not going to go down and be, you know, beaten by 20, 25 points. You're going to have to work for your victory. And it just makes it, we said about sort of spectacles like this, they sometimes fall short. At least the Germans have gone out there and put up a good fight in the closing stages.
Desi Miller slows down her normal pace. And there's Gang. Gang was looking for the pass, then went for the shot, and Schoenemann fouled her with 1:42 to go.
Miller 1 from 9 from the floor in the gold medal match, 11%.
It's amazing.
Gail Gang in comparison 4 from 8. She's had a very, very good game, the co-captain.
But in fairness to Desi Miller, that was the German plan, was to take away that shot from her that she had been hitting, make her take different shots.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Unsettle her.
Yeah, it worked. Gang makes it.
Well played, Gail Gang.
57-58 from Gail Gang, 58-45 with 1:40 to go, and the free throw percentage for the U.S. Well, that's been their best shooting. Monen looking for the 3. She knows they need 3s, and she doesn't hit that one, and it's going to go out of bounds and over to the U.S. with 1:22 to play in the game.
1:22 to play in the game, and it's almost certainly going to be going the way of the USA for gold. Germany, they have been brave. It has been a good comeback in this final quarter, but the Americans have closed out a game that really they set up beautifully in the first 3 quarters.
Oh, that spin by Murray, and so she'll take the shot. She misses, and it's 1:05 to play now as Germany bring it down with Monen. Murray picks her up. Monen goes back out, and she's going to go inside to Schoenemann. She misses. The rebound to Desi Miller, who protects it and then gets it to Murray, and Murray's fouled in the backboard as she gets it up to Rose Hollerman.
But that shot from Schooneman was, she does look like a shadow of her former self currently. And it's a shame for Schooneman. She's such a bright spark for this German team. That lady, definitely a bright spark for the Americans, Rebecca Murray. But Schooneman, you'd normally expect her to make shots from that sort of range.
And, and for Germany, with Miller being 26 years old, but Schooneman's 33, and Monin's 37 now. The question is, where do they go in the future? In which direction and with which players? Gross, who's only 22, can come along as a big, but right now I don't think she's ready.
I would be surprised if Monin continues. I don't know that for certain. I'd be surprised. Schooneman, she's kind of in that awkward age, 33, 4 more years takes her to 37. She might carry on to Tokyo. Your guess is as good as mine on that one, but they have
active enough to be able to. I mean, she plays like a younger
very athletic player. Totally agree. But they have got, they have got a young group of players in there. It just depends, can they perform like your Marina Monins? It's a big player to fill if she does leave the squad post these games.
And the U.S. called the timeout with 33 seconds left, and we'll see who comes out on the court to finish this game up, as Rebecca Murray's 2 free throws put them up 60-45, and that 60 matches their lowest score of the tournament, which was against the Dutch. Game they won 60-50. And a very similar game in a lot of ways. The Dutch had a great first quarter, ran even. The U.S. had a good second quarter and a fantastic third quarter, broke the game up, and then the Dutch came back in the fourth quarter to make it a close game.
And the Americans, seconds from celebrating, and
look at that.
You can't get past the fact they deserve
one scorer stands out among everybody else in the game.
Rebecca Murray, wow.
Yep.
She's played them to yet another gold.
And the German fans, not much to cheer about now, and the Americans, they're 33 seconds away from an explosion of joy. And Desi Miller just holding the ball. Nice to see Briesman coming out on the court for Germany. Hollerman over to Murray, 9 on the shot clock. Desi Miller, and she hits one from the foul line, from her spot. Desi Miller hits, and it's 62-45, 13 seconds to play.
Yeah, I mean, the Germans have to put this into perspective. They are now such a successful team in world terms, and they weren't always that way. It hasn't always been this way for European basketball. Silver again for Germany, but the USA, wow, 3 golds in 4 Paralympic Games, and they claim the gold, and congratulations to them. There has been no better team here on overall performance. The USA, Mike, superb stuff.
Absolutely, they rolled through the tournament undefeated, and deservedly so. Teams could keep close to them for short times, but no one for the whole game, and a big part of that reason was the shooting and the all-around play of Becca Murray, really the leader of this team, quietly and just doing everything that needed to be done for the U.S. to give them the win. And emotional scenes from these American players. Rose Hollerman, at age 20, is a Paralympic champion for the first time.
Murray, 33 points in a gold medal match. Steph Wheeler, she won gold as a player in 2004 and 2008. She was gutted not to take her team to the gold medal match in London as the Germans wheeled away from the British capital with the gold medal. But they've come here to Rio, and Germany have been ousted. They've lost the gold medal here in Rio, which they of course won in London. They have to accept that silver's all they'll get. Gail Geng, what a game she had, Geng. 11 points for the match, and the co-captain can be really proud of her team and how she played. They just outplayed the Germans.
And now the U.S. have passed Germany as the top medal winners in 4 gold medals now in Paralympic basketball, and they've tied them in the overall medals with, well, actually they've gone ahead 8-6 in overall medals.
Annika Zehn there in floods of tears for the Germans, and you've got to feel sorry for this German team. But that said, you look at it as well, America go unbeaten through the competition, which Germany didn't even manage to go unbeaten through their pool. They'll have been delighted to beat the Dutch in the semi-final and make it to the final. But did they use up too much energy in that semi-final? Did it take too much out of them? The USA just got the strategy perfect today, I thought.
And after fourth place finishes at London 2012 and at the World Championships in 2014, the U.S. has gotten that fourth place monkey off their back, and they have defeated Germany for the gold medal here at Rio 2016 Paralympic Games, 62-45.